My name is Samantha Van Buren, and I am the Associate Director of our health programs at Special Olympics New York. And so I'm really excited for tonight's session. Tonight we have Danielle Hahn here. She is a yoga instructor, educator, and she will be giving us some practical strategies on how to manage stress, including, some simple stretches, yoga practices, breathing techniques, and more. So, yeah, I'm not going to make it super long. Thank you all for coming tonight. I think we're all going to have a great session and learn a lot and hopefully be very relaxed after this. I'm sure we will be. So, yeah, Danielle, whenever you are ready, go right ahead.
Okay. All right. I will go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sam, for introducing me. I am a master's in public health student at University at Albany College of Integrated Health Sciences, and I'm in my last final semester of coursework. Um, I am also a yoga instructor, and yoga has helped me. It's been a lifeline for me in managing stress and in overcoming hardships and challenges in my own life, and bringing more joy into my life as well. Let's see. One question, Sam, is oh yeah, I can just move this bar. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So good health includes stress management. And we all experience stress. It's something that we all feel, and it is an uncomfortable, often unpleasant feeling when we feel stressed. It can feel um, like it's getting in our way, like it can feel just really difficult and it can stick with us. But the good news is that if we learn tools to manage stress, then those tools empower us to allow stress to move through us and not stick with us. And in doing that, then our stress doesn't affect as much of our day or moments in our lives that we could be enjoying things that we love to do, like sports. So, facing any obstacles or barriers in our lives is often stressful. And when we're aware of um, our feelings of stress, when we start to just bring ourselves closer to noticing when we're feeling stressed, then we can learn to practice the tools that we're going to talk about today that'll soften the feelings of stress and it'll help us overcome it. So it can sometimes come from within. And what that means is that, again, bringing awareness to ourselves by tapping deeper inward helps us to identify and be aware of when stress is coming into our life and when it's starting to affect us. And when we look inside, we want to notice what kind of things we're saying to ourselves. So, um, maybe there is a way that we've been spoken to by somebody else in our life. Maybe there are experiences that we have had that really impacted us, and it's changed the way we view ourselves. And so this is where we begin. We want to begin by becoming aware of what we're saying to ourselves inside, because that can also be a source of our stress. And the person that we have the most control over, that the only person we have control over, is ourself. And so these tools are really going to empower us. Our stress, of course, comes from our outside environment, and we cannot control that. But the good news is that we can use those tools then and that empowered self to then manage the stress that comes into our life from outside sources. And so our energy does not have to mimic the energy of the environments that we are in. We do have control over our minds and we have control over how we react to things. So we have control over our opinions and what we think. So stress management using accessible yoga practices. What this means is that yoga is for everybody and it is for everyone. And often we have pictures in our mind of what we think things are like because we see them. We see pictures in advertisements, we see pictures on the internet. And we have this idea then based on these visions that we've been shown of what something is. And I want us to try to begin tonight to let go of those attachments of what we think yoga is supposed to look like. Those words, even supposed to or should, that itself is a yoga practice. Just starting to shed ourselves of even using words like, well, I should do this or I'm supposed to do this because um, those can actually create feelings of shame or feelings of stress in itself. So use your creative mind to find what works for you. So there's a lot of creativity in yoga. There is not it's never a one size fits all. Practices in yoga can include meditation. Often we think of meditation as sitting down for long periods of time in silence, and it doesn't have to be like that. It can be moments in your day. We can meditate while we're walking. We can meditate while washing dishes. So we can meditate through action, actually. But mostly what we're doing is quieting the mind, calming the mind. Breathing, and I have here the yogic word for that is pranayama, and we're going to touch on that a little bit because I think it's fun to break things down. I think it helps our minds understand more like, oh, this makes more sense now. Breathing is a way of yoga. It really is the most important part of yoga. And then postures. So these we think of as our yoga poses. We think of, we've seen people, right, with like their arms up like this and maybe in like a lunge position, or we see people with their hands on the floor and their tailbone up high in downward facing dog. Those are what we call asanas, and they can be done in a seated position. They can be done standing on our feet, on our hands. They can also be done lying down. And one of the most powerful yoga asanas is Shavasana, and that's our lying down pose. We think of that as easy, but it's actually one of the most challenging because sitting still is actually really challenging for most people. Um, Singing. So these last two are actually some of my favorites because singing. So just singing a song, humming can clear our mind. So when we're humming a tune or when we're singing lyrics of a song, words of a song, it actually starts to clear our mind of those things that are making it busy and laughter. So this is probably, and maybe not, maybe you've heard of laughter yoga, but this is a really powerful yoga practice. Um, and the fun thing is about laughter yoga is that it's even more powerful in community. So I'm going to ask if anybody has a joke, and if you do, please let me know.
I got one.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. So,
Well,
all right, so before you tell your joke, I just want to have all of us drop in with each other and take one full deep breath in and out. So, just real clearing breath and breathe out through the nose or mouth, whatever feels good. And then I want you to visualize yourself laughing. And then I want you to start to turn the corners of the mouth up. So just smile. And then when we listen to Kevin's joke, whether you think it's funny or not, I'm sure we're going to find it funny. I want you to start laughing. Okay, so we're gonna let Kevin take us into his joke.
I go ready. Goes what
Yep.
kind of cake do ghosts like?
Uh, Um, I'm not sure.
I ice cream cake.
Funny one, Kevin.
And so now, because we're already laughing, I want us to practice something. I want us to just laugh. I want us to just keep laughing. Okay. So I'm going to start laughing and then you just start laughing with me. Okay. And it can be, it can be forced. It can be fake laughter. Okay. That's okay. We're just going to laugh. Okay. So, Oh, and I think we could do this for a really long time, and we could wear ourselves out just laughing. The thing is that even when we force ourselves to laugh, even when we don't have Kevin with us to tell us a joke that's funny, we can just laugh, and it is incredibly powerful to lifting our mood. And it doesn't have to be genuine, because what you'll notice is once you start laughing it might start feeling really uncomfortable and fake, and then all of a sudden before you know it, it's genuine laughter. So yeah, so practice laughter yoga. Okay, so yoga is a practice and a tool that we carry with us. So when we play sports, often we have a goal to win something, or maybe to get to a finish line, or if it's an individual sport, maybe we have set our goals on really improving a certain skill in our sport. And so we have this goal in mind. But in yoga, there's no gold stars for doing yoga. There's no medals or awards. The reward, though, is joy and inner peace. And that's why we call it a practice. There's not an end game, in other words. It's something that the better we get at it, the more that we make it a daily thing, the more powerful it's going to be in our life. So as athletes, we show up for our teammates. That's a big part of being in a sport, right? We show up for each other. And it's really one of the most powerful things in life to be in a sport and to show up for other people and see them show up for us. But in yoga, we show up for ourselves. And this allows us to be the best version of ourselves and that we can offer then to our team. Our breath is our greatest gift. It is life. Without our breath, right, we're not here. So it's always there as a tool. So one simple thing to do is we can just put our hand on our heart. And if we just do that and we feel our heartbeat, we feel our life force right there, and we can start to feel our chest rise and fall with each and every breath. And that alone, right? Even when we feel like maybe we just don't have the time or we don't have a moment to pause and sit down, we can just do this and maybe even close our eyes and just breathe. Okay, so the other thing is that yoga, everything we've talked about so far that is yoga, it improves our balance, it helps align our spine, and we're going to notice that in our practice that we do today together. It increases muscle mass. And just by laughing, just by breathing with intention, we're engaging our muscles. And it makes us stronger at our core, which is where we really want to bring our strength because that's what brings us balance and function. And of course, it improves our lung function as well. It expands our abilities to have stronger breath, which then is good for our overall health. All right, so types of breath work. So in yoga, the breath is called pranayama, as I mentioned before. And just to break apart this word, so prana stands for life force energy. And we just talked about that. We can feel our life force energy by putting our hand on our chest, right over our heart, and feeling our breath. And then yama is restraint or control. And this is so interesting because what we've talked about so far is that we can actually control and manage stress with our breath. And so this word is rooted in the knowledge that we have. so far. So a cooling breath, we're talking about seasonal. And right now this webinar is at a perfect time. We are in spring season, and this is the season of, newness and kind of a rebirthing type period. But with that, we start to experience warmer temperatures. And also, as athletes, we start to increase our inner heat. So, cooling breath can be one that is going to be really useful to you as an athlete. Now, some of us can curl our tongue, some of us cannot. I'm one of the people of the 15% of all the population that cannot curl their tongue. But you don't need to, but if you can, that's great. So you can utilize it here. So the cooling breath or Satali breath, we curl our tongue or we purse our lips or round our lips. So kind of like we're sucking in through a straw. And we're going to take a deep breath in that way, like that. And then we're going to hold the breath and relax the chin and hold it for about a count of 6 to 8. And then we'll close the mouth and exhale through the nose, nice and slow. So at your own pace, but what we're working on here is we want to we want to visualize cooling when we do this breath. Okay, so when we breathe in, we're breathing in the coolness of the air, and then we're releasing the warm air from inside the body. Now, we can also do this when we're feeling angry or when we're feeling frustrated. It's going to cool that, it's going to tame that inner fire that maybe has gotten irritated, and it's going to bring, we all have fire inside of us because it's our digestion. Um, we can then cool the body and cool the mind through the Satali or cooling breath. So let's go ahead and practice this. Okay, so I'm going to guide you through one. So you're going to kind of purse your lips or curl your tongue as if you're breathing in through a straw, and you're going to take a nice deep breath. Okay, so breathe in. And then when you get to the top of the breath, hold onto the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax the chin, close the mouth, and exhale through the nose. Release, nice, deep, slow, long release. And we'll do it one more time, okay? So breathe in. And then hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax the chin, close the mouth, and exhale through the nose. And so with practice, this can be more useful because sometimes it feels a little bit foreign, right? It feels a little different than what we're used to. So if we practice this, then maybe while we're out on the playing field or we're in a crowded space and we're starting to feel stressed out, we can, step aside or just, take a moment to ourselves. And the more that we get used to this, the better the better that we can use this tool. And then this next one is probably a little easier to remember because we've got number association. It's the 5-3-7 breath. And in this one, we're doing it the opposite way. So we're actually going to breathe in through the nose and we're going to suspend the breath. So hold the breath gently at the top of the breath. And then we're going to slowly exhale through the mouth. And so we're going to breathe in for a count of 5. And then we're going to hold the breath for 3. And then we're going to exhale for 7. And this can also be done anytime in a seated, standing position. You could do this while you're walking. You could do it while you're, again, like I mentioned, doing dishes, folding laundry, whatever that might be. In this one, I want you to really feel that when you breathe in, because it's for a 5 count, you're going to breathe in and just kind of like stretch, like lengthen up your spine. And I find when I'm practicing these things, sometimes it's helpful to close down my eyes because I can start to visualize as if like there's a string here at the top of my head and I'm pulling up and my spine starts to get nice and long and my crown of my head starts to reach up above, okay? So I'm going to cue you while you're in your seated position, most likely, maybe you're standing. Um, We're going to breathe in this time through the nose. And we're going to breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to pause for a count of 3. And then we're going to breathe out as if you're blowing out a candle or you're cooling off a sip of soup, okay, or a spoonful of soup. So let's go ahead and just kind of ground ourselves and then start to maybe close the eyes and envision the spine lengthening as we start to breathe in. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to the breath for 1, 2, 3. And then out through the mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And for one more time here, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath, 1, 2, 3, and out through the mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, how do you feel? Good, thumbs up.
Great.
Okay,
Good. Good.
okay, good, good. So this breath will improve your focus. Maybe this is a breath you use to center yourself before you're about to compete or before you're about to um, play a game or you're going to, try to reach your goal that you set for yourself in your exercise. So really improving focus, and this starts to support a meditation practice. So you could use this in your meditation, starting off with maybe just 1 minute or 2 minutes and just working your way up. Okay. And I meant to ask, how many of you, is there anybody here who can curl their tongue? Okay. Me either. All right. So ancient practices. So I like to bring this in because it's nice to know where things began. So Ayurveda, it's kind of a funny word. It comes from the a 5,000-year-old system in India. So this has been around, y'all, for a really long time. So it's the sister science of yoga. And this is really where your daily practices come in. Okay, so besides the breathing and the yoga positions and even sound bath, things like that, this is where the practice is rooted in. So what we do daily is what really matters the most. And so the art of our daily living is our lifestyle, it's exercise, it's meditation, breathing, of course, and the foods, the things we put inside our body. So balance is gotten through our daily routines. And so we want to create health in our daily routines. Okay, so this is going to balance our bodies and our minds and our souls. So this is this wheel. We can see a moon and a sun, and really, when we think of Ayurveda, we want to think of nature. So we want to think of how we are so connected with nature. We're one with nature, and we are actually we move with the seasons. So right now we're in spring. And we might start to feel a little bit more energized coming out of that deep sleep of winter. Maybe our routines felt a little slower, and now we're starting to feel like, okay, I can put a little bit more into my day because I'm feeling like I have more energy. That is because it's nature. So what's happening outside is also what's happening within us. And I really love this sister science because we can connect with Ayurveda by simply stepping outside, spending time connecting with nature. We can start to set a routine of waking up early in the morning, rising a little bit more with the sun, practicing our yoga or meditation just as we have, like I mentioned, it actually can it can take only 1 minute if that's all you have to get started. engaging in regular exercise, so just moving our body. That could be walking um, instead of driving if we have a short distance to go. It could be when we go somewhere that has stairs and an elevator. It could be taking stairs. It could be when we're seated in a chair. It could be doing some simple stretches, right? Reaching our arms out or stretching our legs. Um, it can also be visualizing ourselves doing these things. So if we find that we can't do those things, we can visualize ourselves doing them. And the science says that picturing ourselves doing the things that maybe we can't get our body to do actually gives us the same kinds of benefits. So that is the really important thing to remember here. Eating wholesome, nourishing foods. So, what that might be is taking a look at what is in season. And so in spring, for instance, now we might start to see that if we have visited a garden, we can visually see what's in season. We see what's starting to really flourish, right? So we can just look around us. Or when we go to the grocery store, we might notice that certain prices on certain produce drops during this time of year. And that tells us, that signifies to us, oh, okay, well, if it's less expensive and there's more of it, it must be in season. Okay, so eating those foods is going to give us that energy to be able to manage our stress. And so my question is, what time do you like to wake up in the morning?
Well, me, it varies. I wake up when I gotta work, like 6:15, and when I'm off, like 10:15, 10:30.
Okay, yeah, I'm the same way. I like to sleep in if I can. How about you,
I'm up
Kevin?
at I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oof.
Oh, wow. Okay. And do you like that? Is that your
Yeah.
preference?
I'm get up
Yeah.
at 4. I get up, I get ready for work, shave, shower, get ready, dressed, and have breakfast, and then I leave my house at 6 in the morning, start work at 6:45 to 3:30.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you have a really solid routine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's very balancing when we have a routine. So whatever it is, if we can align ourselves, and that's not always possible. Sometimes we have, responsibilities that make us have to get up at a certain time. But then when we have those opportunities, it's important to give us the opportunity to follow what our rhythms naturally are telling us, right? That feels good. Okay.
I've been doing it for like 40 years, I've been.
Wow. Well, then yeah, you've got a really solid routine, and I aspire to have a routine like that. That is something that is a goal of mine.
And the,
So,
the funny part is I wake up before the alarm clock goes off.
wow. Well, yes, that's a really good point because yeah, you are your own alarm clock.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Um, So, this slide is really just more of a visual, just inspiring, seeing all the colors on the plate, eating foods and drinking teas that are nourishing to you. And it's not a one size fits all. We're all different. So, what is nourishing for me might not be nourishing for you, in that season. And that's because, we have a lot of choices and that's to support all of us. So it's really important going back to the beginning, when we first started talking with each other about yoga and managing stress, to tap inward and ask ourselves, what does feel good? What do I enjoy eating and how do I feel when I eat it? That's an important question. So, another question for you is what do you eat or drink when it's hot outside? Because we're starting to gear up for summer, so we're going to hit, higher temperatures.
Starbucks refreshers, even though they cost a lot.
Yeah, and what do you order when you go to Starbucks or
A
Freshers?
Trenta strawberry lemonade with no strawberries in it.
Oh, okay. All right. So the flavor, the strawberry flavor and yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I get the biggest size they have.
Okay. With ice or no ice?
Oh, ice, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And anybody else
I
wanna
I,
chime in?
u- I usually drink depends on like what I fill up to. I might drink water with those flavor things you open up. You can dump it in it. I don't know
Hmm.
what they call them. And then I might drink like I might get a decaf iced coffee. Or my usually I make my own at home. It's cheaper. They
Hmm.
charge too much money. It costs almost like $5 for an iced coffee now. And so I
Yes.
just go buy them in the store, the decaf, and put my ice or crushed ice in it, and then I take it, put the coffee in it, the ice cold brew ice coffee, whatever, the decaf one, and then I just put the cream in it with less calories and stuff. I do.
Yeah. Well, that sounds delicious. I
Yeah,
love cream in my coffee.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, so notice, right, as it starts to get hot out, we really crave those cool beverages. And again, it's just tapping in and noticing. And all of this is really, it's about that. It's just getting to know ourselves. You know, we're always changing and we're really interesting. So getting to know ourselves. So another ancient practice is traditional Chinese medicine. And I bring this in because this is really useful. Acupressure and sometimes reflexology is a way that we can very easily use this practice to calm ourselves and to start to manage our stress. And again, tap in and just be able to feel empowered to get over hard things. So, another question is how do you feel? Because this is going to segue into just, talking a little bit about what I mean here. How do you feel when you win or reach your goal as an athlete? Or when you get a big hug from somebody you care about, or you see a loved one, or even a pet.
I like it because you feel welcomed and they miss you. So that's what I feel when I get a big hug.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
I I feel great when no matter what I do, because I accomplishment myself, and by doing my best to go out there and show people what I can do, no matter if I win or lose. I just accomplishment in myself, and I say next time I would do better. And I go talk to my friends, and I still socialize with people, and I thank them for like for volunteering and coming there and stuff. I do.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. Everything I heard is that's beautiful. So we know, right? We just talked about and we kind of tapped in just by talking about it, how that makes us feel. And we can use, so when we have these experiences of things that don't feel that way, we can use a little bit of acupressure to release those feelings and get back to those feel good feelings and emotions that we were just talking about. And interesting, right? We look at these feet and it's like, my feet don't look like that. But the bottoms of our feet, they have all these areas on them that are connected to our brain. So we can tap in, and I have arrows here pointing to the big toe. And the center of the big toe is connected to our pituitary gland in our brain. And that is exactly where that feeling that we were talking about, right? When Kevin, you were saying it's like you just feel good, you do your best. And I heard that it was like we just feel really good when we accomplish things and know that, we accomplished it either way and that feels good to us. And Billy, you were saying like, how a hug feels. I think most of us feel that way. When we get a hug, it just feels amazing. So when we place pressure on the center of our big toe, it brings on those same feel-good emotions. It activates it, and we start to relieve that stress or worry. And we can do this. We can do it by using our hands, of course, and we can apply firm pressure right at the center of the big toe. And we can even do like some circular motions. and apply a little bit of pressure. But, we can't always take our socks and shoes off and reach for our toes. But we also might be just, and again, using our visualization. So that is always an option. We can visualize, close our eyes and visualize pressing our toe into the floor right at the center of the toe. Or we can even do it physically. So we could be sitting in our chair and we can press down with our big toe onto the floor. Now, sometimes with the certain shoes that we're wearing, it might feel like you're not going to feel a whole lot of pressure there. But just the act of just kind of moving that big toe down and applying pressure and visualizing will start to relieve stress. So I find these things so amazing because these are just tools that we have within ourselves. Okay. So maybe you're even trying it right now. And then here I've got some visualizations so we can start to actually see what yoga can look like. Okay. Maybe we have had a certain picture in our mind of what yoga looks like. And again, as I mentioned, yoga is specific to you. So we use our creativity, okay? So these pictures are a reference, and your practice should be a unique, and I don't want to use should, it will be a unique expression of you. And what I would like you to do, and just be mindful to go into each pose slowly and to exit gently before moving on to the next one. That's, for me, that's best practice. Um, so I love to refer here because Carolyn Hughes created this incredible resource of adaptive yoga practices. And on the left, we see a seated pose. And we can see Carolyn, she's sitting on towels. We often think of yoga as needing all these props, right? So like for instance, I have some, right? I have a bolster here like this. It's like a big firm cushion. I've got, but then I also have these pillows, right? These are just firm couch pillows. And then I also have a blanket rolled up. So we can use all kinds of things. We can use a towel rolled up. We can use soup cans. We can use books. We have, yoga blocks. They make these really, nice blocks. And if we have these, great. But a book works just as well, or a stack of books. Um, and a blanket, a towel to sit on is just fine. So, and we can adapt our practice with props. And the key here is we want to support our body and we want to be comfortable while we're doing these things. So it's a supportive practice while we're building that strength balance and that core and muscle mass. So we can see here that we have somebody that's against a wall, had a spinal injury, and is near a wall to help support the spine. So she's using the wall as a prop. And then we also see another person here in a wheelchair, and she is a person who is has MS. And so she's supported in the wheelchair and she's sitting in the same position. Her feet are supported on a bolster and her hands are in prayer hands here. And this is really important because when we place our palms together and we bring our thumbs, this inside or this outside of our thumb here in toward our heart, we're connecting with um, moon energy, which is basically mothering energy. It's very nurturing. So again, just another point here, we can do that. And then we also see mountain pose. So here we can use something like a strap. And so this is where, if we don't have one of these straps like this, we can use a belt. So just a belt that we would use to hold up our pants, we can use that. And we can place a pillow between the legs. And so this is really supportive too, because her feet are on blocks and her knees are then making that 90-degree angle. So again, supporting the body to be in the position that you're going to benefit from. And then even though that strap is there to help to engage the legs against the block, the muscles are responding to that. So just keep in mind that all these props, they should be your best friend when you're doing yoga, okay? If it feels good and you see something, right? Use your creativity to look around at what you have and, oh, I could use that. In a standing pose, putting a block between the legs helps the stability of the pose. And her hands are down at her sides, but you can use your hands, right? So you can turn your hands out for receiving energy, and you can bring your palms closer in or grounded on armrests or on the floor, and that brings a more grounded sensation in your yoga. So then we see tree pose, and this is a balancing pose. And you can see here that there are so many variations. And on the very left, we see the use of a chair. And so instead of sitting in the chair, she could also use the wall. So if she starts to fall out of balance, I always tell practitioners, if I'm leading a yoga class, that in these balancing poses, if we start to fall out of balance, to focus on the breath and just to visualize yourself in that balanced pose and just take yourself there through your mind and through your breath. But you can see she's using a chair, has one foot up on the chair, and the main thing is that other foot is the grounded foot. That's the one that's the trunk of the tree. And then the middle pose, here she's in a freestanding pose, but the toe is still there. It's grounding, it's balancing, it's providing that stability and support. But again, the foot that's flat is the one that's grounded. That's the root, right, of tree pose. And then the picture here on the right, she is supported with a bolster on the floor. So another different position of the bolster. Now she is not using the wheelchair to support the bolster. The bolster is flat on the floor. Her foot is flat on the bolster, and her knee is actually up, and her foot is rested. And then using a strap to pull the knee up. And that right there, that's creating that little bit of tension and the groundedness in the rooted foot. Okay. And also, if you notice her gaze, your gaze is really important. So, if you notice, then you look back at the pictures in the middle and on the left, her gaze is focused. It's in front of her. It's maybe looking up. So, if our eyes are closed and we're visualizing what we're doing, that's one way of doing this. If our eyes are open, then it's also really important to note that where we're looking, right, the direction that we're looking is also going to uplift us, and it's going to be useful in managing our health and our stress levels. And I just want to stop here and ask if anybody has any questions, like if you have anything you want to ask or anything that you want to offer of what you're seeing in these pictures.
Can you like send this to us or like send it in an email or whatever so
Yeah.
we like have it if that's all right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say that I planned to say that at the end, but I'm glad you brought that up because I want to be here to support you beyond this webinar. So if there's things that I can send your way that you can have and refer back to, I would love that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can share it too. And I usually share it with the recording of the video too as well. That goes on our YouTube channel. So yeah, I'll share that with everyone as well.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I would like the slides and stuff so I can at least have it on my thing. But if you're doing that, then yeah, all good.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so this is where we're going to wind down with each other and just go through a little bit of yoga and meditation together. So we tried to do the sound in the beginning and had some technical issues with that. So we'll see if we can work that out for another one of our meetups at another time. So I will work on that. But I still can guide us through a meditation and a little bit of gentle movement as well. So I just want you to take this time right now to just look around you and notice where you are. Okay, so that's the first thing we want to do is just by noticing, oh yeah, I'm in this room that I've been sitting in, but now I'm gonna look around and just and really be here. And then I want you to prepare yourself for relaxation by either supporting yourself in your chair if you feel at all uncomfortable. And that might just be sitting back and letting the chair, the back of the chair, really support you and starting to just melt in a little bit to that space. And take a nice full deep breath in and out. And start to notice where you connect with your chair, or if you're lying down, start to just deepen into that connection and just notice your breath. And if you want to adjust yourself, or maybe you're noticing, oh, a blanket would feel good here, or maybe that pillow that I know is a few steps away would be really good. Go ahead and grab it, and we want to make sure that we're really, really able to feel that our body is supported. And then if it feels safe and comfortable to close down your eyes, that can help to just draw a little bit deeper inward. We're just going to travel a little bit further inward and take another full deep breath in and out. Nice relaxed breath, not forcing anything. And then just notice where the breath lands. So as you keep breathing in and out, maybe you notice that the breath lands in the chest before you exhale. And maybe the breath is a little bit more shallow. Or maybe as you breathe in and out, you start to feel the belly rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. Maybe your breath is deeper and it's drawing deeper into the lungs, creating that rise in the belly. And then start to soften the muscles in the face. Start to release the forehead and any tension in between the eyes. And start to relax the jaw. And then as you breathe in on the next breath, start to visualize and pull all the way up from the base of the spine, your tailbone, all the way up through the crown of the head, really lengthening the spine, visualizing it getting longer, and just briefly suspend that breath. And then exhale and let the shoulders relax. And start to picture the space between your ears and your shoulders growing as the shoulders relax. The space is getting longer. And now just notice the breath again, noticing maybe the breath has gotten a little deeper now. And start to notice the sounds around you. Maybe the sound coming through your computer, my voice. Maybe you notice the sound of your own breath. And then start to notice any sounds coming into the room from outside. Maybe there's birds chirping outside your window. Maybe there's a breeze that you can hear. Maybe there's elements of nature that are making some noise outside or cars going by. And then on the next breath in, start to notice the coolness of the air as you breathe in through the nose. And then the warmth of the air from the body as you breathe out through the nose. And then notice where the hands are. And then maybe if it feels good, pick them up and just kind of maybe reach out at your sides or shake out the arms or roll the wrists and take a full deep breath in. And then as you exhale, let the hands fall wherever they want to and just let them land. And then on the next breath, start to welcome all of this into your practice. And then if your eyes are closed on the next breath, just start to open up the eyes a little bit, allowing a sliver of light back in. And where the eyelids are closed still, about 9/10 of the way. So just a little bit of light is coming in. And maybe you're looking down the nose, or you can start to see your body in front of you. And then on the next breath, start to open the eyes just a bit more. And now maybe your view is just beyond or just in front of the body. Maybe you see your knees. And then on the next breath, start to open up the eyes a little bit more and just find a place to land the gaze softly. And somewhere in front of you, maybe if you're seated, it's on the edge of your computer or on the table. Maybe if you're lying down, it's just a soft gaze up above. And then start to bring your hands maybe down alongside of your body. And again, if you don't feel like moving the body at all, or you can't for any reason, just visualize your hands starting to come down alongside your body. And then as you breathe in, start to reach the arms up, out at your sides, and start to turn the head upward as your hands connect above your body. And as you exhale, start to draw the hands down all the way through your center. So your palms are touching and your eyes are on your hands, guiding your hands down in front of the heart. So they land right here. And then release them at your sides again. A nice deep, full breath. Nice gentle breath as the arms travel up over the head, connect at the palms, and then with your gaze, guide your hands down slowly until they land in front of the heart. And then we'll do this one more time. So release the hands and a nice full deep breath in, reaching the arms, whatever feels comfortable. Maybe you reach them a little higher this time. And then with the gaze, guide the hands down. And then this time when you bring the hands in front of the heart, gently press the palms into one another and then draw the thumbs into the center of the chest and really make contact here. Kind of dig the fingers, the thumbs into the center of the chest and maybe close down the eyes and really connect with your center. Connect with the heart and connect with your breath. These are the rhythms of the body. Take a nice full cleansing breath in and exhale through nose or mouth, whatever feels good. And then as you inhale, exhale, and start to release the hands and bring the hands down to either rest on the tops of the legs or at your sides, whatever feels comfortable, trying to bring the palms in an upward position or for receiving energy. And then feel the shoulders. Notice that maybe they feel a little bit more relaxed now. And take another full breath in and exhale through the mouth. And then we can bring the hands back together and land them in front of the heart. And here, as you breathe in and out, on my next breath out, I'm going to sing Om, and feel free to sing with me. So it's just an Om sound, okay? So if you feel like singing, go ahead and sing with me, release your voice, or allow me to be your voice. Oh.
Mm,
Namaste. And you can start to open up your eyes gently. Maybe blink the eyelids a few times. Move the face muscles. Start to wake up the face. Maybe roll the shoulders back and roll the shoulders forward if that feels good. Maybe move the neck in any comfortable position, just really gentle. Maybe just a little bit of a neck roll side to side, bringing the chin down to the chest. Maybe moving a little bit left and right, kind of waking up the spine. And take a nice resetting breath. And start to welcome looking and seeing things as new in each and every moment. And that is just a mini little practice. And I'm so grateful for being able to be in this space with you and practice with you. And I hope that was beneficial. And I would love to, if you don't want to speak, I understand. If you want to, please feel free to share.
very enlightening. That it was very calm and very peaceful and tranquil.
That's excellent.
Kevin, are you trying to share something? Because I think you're on mute.
Okay, I'm off now.
There we go.
So I enjoyed it. It was more relaxing and more stressful, like you wasn't thinking about nothing, but just thinking about listening to what you was telling us what to do and stuff. It was a great
Good,
thing. It was.
good. And here's where I would like to what I would like to close with is that I am not the yoga, um, and it is all in you. So um, I facilitated, right? So I guided you, but um, it's within you. So I'm grateful for your feedback, and I'm again, it's such a beautiful space to be in. So thank you so much for having me. And I would love to hear any questions. I think, Sam, is this a good time to open it up for any questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just I just want to say thank you for your time and sharing your thoughts with us to make us more better and help us out with stress-free things because a lot of us will probably learn from that and we can pass it on to our other local athletes and stuff we can.
Yeah, I love that. Passing it on is, yeah, that's the gift right there for sure. Being able to pass on what we know.
My question is, I had back surgery in July, second back surgery. Uh, this will this be good for it? Because I had a lower lumbar, L4, L5, and S1.
Okay. So, what we just did, I think for sure it is safe. I would say support your body.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so make sure that your spine is supported, and and the best thing you can do is keep things really simple and really listen to yourself. So if you start practicing yoga, let's say, and you find a practitioner and you join a live class or another webinar, just the what I would say to that is make sure that if you hear something that is cued or being instructed to do. And it doesn't, initially, right? Our gut is always right. So if it doesn't, it's not resonant. It's like something is telling you, I don't think that's a good idea for me. Um, don't do it. Um, that's always going to be the best advice, no matter what's going on in our bodies, physically or internally. So, but I think what we just did, should it should be, as long as it felt good tonight, I would say that it is totally safe. So just supporting yourself so that you're in a comfortable position, whether standing is more comfortable or maybe again using the support of a wall might be better than a chair just because the wall it's solid, it's flat, um, and maybe using some props.
Okay.
But comfort is really important. Because as we saw in the slides, it isn't about stressing the body. It's not about doing anything that is going to feel uncomfortable.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Thank you for sharing that.
I think that's really good advice, and I wonder if there's almost like videos online that's like specific to that. Um, I broke my elbow in February, and I remember I looked up like how to do like a yoga practice with a broken elbow, and then I found a couple of things that I was able to do. And it's like, wow, there's kind of something out there for everything.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love that that is where our thoughts are going, is that we start opening our minds to going, oh, wait, so now I know that there's so many different ways of doing this.
Mhm.
And then when things do happen, because inevitably it, things happen, um, that we learn that, well, it doesn't mean I can't. It just means that I need to do it a different way.
Mhm.
Um, and that's going to be therapeutic. It's going to help us heal. Um, and it's going to make us feel better and increase our levels of joy. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for Danielle? All right. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. That was really great. And I'm
Thank
so,
you.
so grateful that you were able to share all of that with us and for all the time and effort you put into this whole presentation. So, yeah, and thank you all so much for coming tonight and spending time to just, you know, learn a little bit more about these stress management techniques and um, how yoga practice can be beneficial for all of us. So, yeah, thank you all.
I just
And
got one quick thing to
yeah,
tell her.
sure.
One more quick joke for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why was the birthday cake as hard as a rock?
Oh,
Hmm.
I just think of a stale cake.
It was a marble cake.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez. Funny, Kevin.
Good
Funny.
one.
I'm
And,
gonna pick up my daughter after this, and I'm gonna share that one right away. So thank you.
another thing I was telling people, one time I when I was with my doctor, I told my doctor one time I broke my toe. There's nothing they can do for me, so they had to call a tow truck.
Oh, jeez.
Uh, Kevin, I'm gonna need you if we do a webinar that entails more laughter yoga. We need to collaborate. We need to work together.
You do that.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
tell these jokes every day at work. I go to work every day. When I deliver my mail around, I stop and I tell people jokes, and they say, "You can't retire." They say, "You have to stay here. You make us happy every day." They say,
Oh,
Oh, I'm glad.
awesome.
Yeah, that is such a gift. That is
they do.
amazing. Yeah.
Then at the end of the week, on every Friday night, every Friday, I write up jokes I do, and I do about maybe depends on how much space I have, and I do about 14 to maybe 12, and
Oh, wow.
put the question in one color, then the answer in a different color so it stands out.
Ah.
Wow.
I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And they like it, they do.
Yes, I enjoyed it tonight, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks, Kevin.
and thank you, Sam, for setting this up and all the work that you do. So yeah, all of you, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
all. All right. Have a
Yeah.
great night, everyone.
You
See
All
too.
you.
right, see you.
Bye.
Bye.